Hello, my name is Ryan Hornbeck, and I'm a member of the New Visions Engineering Academy. Today I will teach you about the ethics surrounding de-extinction and why it should be done. To understand why de-extinction is ethical, we must first understand the definition of ethics. Dictionary.com defines ethics as the rules of conduct recognized in respect to a particular class of human actions or particular group, culture, etc. For those of you who do not understand the meaning of de-extinction, on page x of How to Clone a Mammoth, Beth Shapiro defines de-extinction as the revival of specific traits and behaviors of the extinct species through selective breeding, genetic engineering, and cloning. Now you may be asking yourself, why is that unethical? Why wouldn't we want to bring back extinct species? That's an excellent question. One of the main reasons we don't want to bring back an extinct species is the expense. As I already mentioned, de-extinction requires a number of processes, including cloning and genetic engineering. Each of these processes is very expensive for a few reasons. First of all, genetic engineering and cloning requires scientists to have a knowledge about an organism's genome or genetic makeup. So, why is that important? Say we want to revive a mammoth. A mammoth is basically a hairy elephant with slightly different behaviors and some difference in size. As the majority of people know, the mammoth is no longer with us. It went extinct thousands of years ago. Luckily, the Asian elephant, the mammoth's closest living relative, is still alive. The process of sequencing a genome is very difficult. For those who don't know the meaning of sequencing, that means organizing and separating the different genes involved in an organism's genetic makeup. What a scientist wants to do is sequence that genome, figure out what genes make an elephant hairier, take that gene, alter it so that the elephant is hairier, and put it back in the genome. Following that process, an embryo would be planted inside a living Asian elephant for development. Assuming the elephant is born, it would have to go through the process of growing to adulthood and reproducing. Such a process requires at least 2 hairy elephants to be born. Now these 2 hairy elephants exist. Scientists would then selectively breed them. Selective breeding is used to obtain characteristics that are most desirable, such as beagles for hunting, Labradors for retrieving waterfowl, and so on. That process of genetically engineering and selectively breeding mammoths would cost millions of dollars and countless hours of dedication from scientists in labs, mostly in Russia and other Arctic facilities. Dr. Zimov of Russia started a project called Pleistocene Park that provides a habitat for extinct species such as the mammoth. In theory, this location will be ideal for helping the mammoth to grow into what it once was in ancient times. Another argument is that de-extinction is unholy. We should not play the role of God and bring back species that are meant to be dead. However, a lot of people overlook the fact that we caused a lot of these extinctions. For example, the dodo, the thylacine, the passenger pigeon, all of these animals humans made go extinct. We introduced cats, rats, and monkeys to the island of Mauritius, and those ate all of the eggs of the dodos. They could no longer reproduce successfully, and they died out. We hunted the thylacine, and they are outcompeted by dingoes and other predators native to Australia. The passenger pigeon, billions of them roam the American skies, and hunters shot them, obliterated them from the American continent. In other words, we're righting a wrong. We should not have killed off those species. It was unnecessary, and they were not a threat to us. Sure, passenger pigeons pooped over thousands of acres of land, but that does not justify their death. All you have heard so far is why we should not de-extinct. But what we should remember is why we should. What many children will appreciate is having an exotic pet. Take a look at the dodo. It's essentially a large pigeon, about the size of a turkey. We already have chickens, why not have dodos on farms? They could lay possibly larger eggs, we could consume those. Cats and rats seem to like it. Another benefit of de-extinction is the medicinal benefit of plants. Willow trees, widely known for their properties in medicines such as ibuprofen, Advil, and so on. For thousands of years, people have used these medicines to aid in bodily problems, headaches, and so on. Take a look at the African and Asian elephants. These are known as keystone species in their environment. They contribute many benefits to the animals around them and the ecosystem as a whole. They consume vegetation, they ward off certain predators such as lions, and they give back to the environment through their feces and other waste materials. If we take a step back and look at what I've already talked about, we eliminated numerous species. Now, think. How would you feel if you knew it was possible for you to bring one of those whose fault may have been yours for extinction back to life? It was God's beautiful creation that we took away. Why not bring it back? Suppose humans didn't necessarily cause an animal to go extinct. Is it still our responsibility to bring it back? I believe it is. As I explained with elephants, the mammoth was likely a keystone species in the Arctic. As we see it today, the Arctic tundra is basically a desert, except for it's freezing. There's not an awful lot of biodiversity there. But in ancient times, research shows that steppe tundra, occupied by the mammoth, had a plethora of organisms, meaning it had great biodiversity. Scientists and other environmentalists realize biodiversity is a key factor to the survival of an ecosystem. If we don't necessarily reintroduce the mammoth, the tundra may go barren. It may lose all forms of life. If we do reintroduce the mammoth, according to research, it should help those species who already live there to expand, to grow, and what else? In theory, it will transform that Arctic desert into a beautiful Arctic grassland where animals like caribou, antelope, and other species can roam the grasslands. They can grow. Herbivores growing means predators can also grow. That creates an entire food web, a new food web that once existed, brought back to life by one organism. That organism, almost on its own, would cause a new chain of evolution to revolutionize our world. All those new species offer medicinal benefits to humans. We could also ride them as we used to ride horses. If we were to reintroduce one keystone species to an area such as North America's deserts, it's perfectly feasible that the many endangered species such as kangaroo rats would flourish. If that area is transformed back into grass and green and water, those animals will have a new way of life. Endangered species will benefit from the process of de-extinction. That I can promise you. Thank you for your time, and please consider my words.